What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Griff, and welcome to the Angry Astronaut. Today we're going to be tackling one subject and one subject only, and that is CIG, you done goofed, and you done goofed bad. So, what do I mean by that? Well, CIG, they just had their CitizenCon presentation, and that just happened literally this weekend. And typically it's more of a technical show-off event, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's a little bit boring, and typically they have some new concept sale or new sale going on at that time, which is no big deal. That's how they've been doing their funding for so long at this point. But what I had problems with are two things. Number one, the first concept sale that they did was the Pioneer, and this is a brand new ship. It was priced fairly high anyways, but on top of that, they decided to introduce their concept of artificial scarcity yet again. They did it not through the method of it being a limited time sale. They did it through the method of it being a quantity limited sale. I feel like I've already tackled the issue of artificial scarcity in my last video, but it shouldn't exist. It shouldn't be a thing. If somebody wants to get a ship, and you as the developer are going to sell ships in order to fund your game, you should just have them available at all times. Not just these select times, because what you're doing at that point is you're just trying to encourage impulse buys. But the biggest problem that I had was with the announcement of the Sabre Raven. This has been a ship they've been teasing for months now. It's been a ship they've been referencing. It's been a ship a lot of people were saying that they were probably going to buy when it comes out. So it comes to find out that at CitizenCon, Intel actually sponsored the event. And because they sponsored the event, I guess that gives them the free rein to say, we want an exclusive ship and we want it attached to one of our products. And that product happens to be an Intel Optane SSD. I'm not going to get into what an Optane SSD is, because I'm hardly qualified to talk about that. But what I can tell you is that, number one, not everyone is going to be able to even use this device with their current system. I can also tell you that if you have certain SSDs, like an M.2, getting this SSD isn't even an upgrade. On paper it is, but in practice, you're not going to be able to tell a difference unless you're doing industrial workhorse stuff on your computer. So if you have a workstation, this might, and I mean might, benefit you. Moving on from that, we have this ship, which, mind you, is a completely unique ship. It's not just a reskin of the regular Sabre. The only thing it actually shares with the Sabre is the name and certain aesthetic things like the cockpit. So on stats, it basically is completely different in regards to weapon loadout and its function. The biggest difference is that this ship is listed as a interdictor, as an interception ship. So what that means is this is the first stealth interdictor. And not only is it the first, but it's also locked behind a manufacturer paywall. You literally have to go to a third-party retailer in order to buy this SSD in order to even get this ship. On top of that, you're not only just getting the ship, but you're only getting the ship with 2-month insurance. It's not even LTI. If they're going to force you to go out and pay $400 to $600 on this SSD, it better come with LTI. And guess what? It's not. So that's kind of rubbing salt right into the wound, but not to mention, I've already given CIG a fairly large amount of money. Why do I now need to go to Intel in order to obtain this ship that is exclusive? Not only has Intel said it's exclusive on their page, like their selling page, but CIG has also said it's exclusive on their redeeming page. So if you take the word exclusive as literally, and the industry practices with pre-order things from retailers that are typically exclusive, the only way to get that item or items is if you pre-ordered or if you got the deal where it was exclusive. So there's nothing basically alluding to us being able to get the ship. What I'm getting at here is that this practice is despicable. Not only is it a slippery slope, because at what point does Intel have a huge say in what goes on in this game and what chips they develop and whatnot, and what they get to be, or what they get to have as exclusive in order to drive deals. But on top of that, they're basically exploiting a market that they know will buy anything that CIG and Chris Roberts endorse. This is just another case of exploitative marketing, because nobody in this community, if they're just going to be playing Star Citizen, likely even needs that drive. It's very useful if you're going to be doing development, and if you're going to be doing stuff on a workstation, but for the average consumer, it's really not worth it. And if any other game did a practice like this, you as a consumer would be up in arms. It happens almost every time there's a new game that comes out, and almost every time something is locked behind an exclusive paywall for either pre-ordering or a special edition. And yet, for some reason, this community, the Star Citizen community, is okay with this, and they even defend this. This is not defendable. It's just like when Assassin's Creed Origins, which, mind you, just came out, locked an entire bonus mission behind pre-ordering. That is huge amounts of content. That is unacceptable, and they're basically doing the same thing here with CIG, except instead of it being a game, instead of it being a game reseller, or instead of it being this greedy corporate overlord publisher that's doing it, instead it's Intel, a hardware manufacturer, who is doing it in conjunction with CIG, the game developers that were supposed to be different, the game developers that didn't want to be like EA. Which, honestly, this makes it 10 times worse.